Guys, can we have a seat in the middle 2 rows? Guys, middle. Yalla, middle. Michael.
One sec, let me see. I'll just go to send whatever I sent you.
The church phone?
This is my phone.
Where's the church iPhone?
That's not it.
So today, Hamed is going to be teaching us about Saint Moses the Strong, or also known as Saint Moses the Black. So he's a very cool saint. He actually lived a really nice life. He got to do a lot of things, do a lot of drugs, do a lot of crimes. And then to cap off his life, he was murdered as a martyr. So what a way to live a life, honestly. He did a lot of things, and then in the end, he was martyred. So he lived quite a life. His name is Saint Moses the Strong. Which is also, Saint Moses the Strong is also translated Pigori Ithaweb. So Gori's name, So Gori's name actually means strong. It's kind of quite of an irony, honestly. It said it was there. Perfect.
There's one on.
Shh.
That's fine.
Why is it not working?
Okay, so today we're going to be talking about Saint Moses the Black, just like said. So, no, it's because I put animation.
Is your first slide? That one?
Yeah, that's my first slide. Okay, so it doesn't really matter.
Not on the phone.
Okay.
Put the tag there.
No, I thought y'all gave us the laptop. That's why. I know. Okay. Okay, so Saint Macarius had a prophecy of Saint Moses that he's going like to visit. He's going to visit them, and then like he's gonna get martyred. So around 407 after Christ, on that day he visited. There were four churches burnt down by the barbarians. Then the hold on. The barbarians were coming. He told all the disciples to go and hide and run away from them. He said, "The words of our Savior must be fulfilled. All who take by the sword will perish by the sword." Matthew 26:52. The 7 disciples decided to stay. They wanted to get martyred with them, so they just stayed with them. One of them found a way to run away. And then when he saw them after they were dead, he saw six crowns on them. So then he just came out of his hiding spot and he said, "Martyr me too." That's how he was martyred. And then this is his doxology, in English and Arabic and Coptic. Can you slide, Sanya? We're in the chapel. There was another slide, بس البتاع ما كان شغال.
Okay. Shh. So, Saint Moses. So Saint Moses, sit down, Hamada. Sit down. So Saint Moses the Strong. If anybody didn't catch him, so Hamada really wanted to sing the doxology, but because we're running late on time, we'll just skip the doxology for now. So if you don't know anything about him, he's actually one of the greatest saints in our church that we all should look up to. Whose saint did we celebrate last week? No, she was a Coptic saint. She was a very critical saint. Huh? Saint Mary of Egypt. And if any of you don't know her story, as it was read in the Synaxar, is one of the most... Guys, pay attention. It's one of the most beautiful stories I ever heard in my life. She was born a prostitute. She wasn't born a prostitute, but she decided to go into prostitution. She spent 17 years of her life in prostitution. She got bored with the men in one city, so she decided to go to another city and do her thing. And then when she wanted to go into the church on resurrection, and she physically felt something blocking her from entering the church. Now, whether it was an angel, whether it was a demon, whether it was something else, I have no idea. But she physically could not enter the church. And that literally sometimes should blow our minds. That sometimes when we're stuck in our sins, that there could be some kind of force that's not allowing us to go to church. Or there's something that's not allowing me to enter church and having to experience the mercies of God. The same thing with Saint Moses the Strong. If you don't know his story, like I hope you got a couple points from what Hamada was saying. This guy killed people. He committed plenty of acts of adultery. He dragged people out, slaughtered them in front of their families, cursed them out. He ate a lot of food. He drank a lot of drinks. He did whatever he wanted to do. He literally lived life driven by his instincts. He was literally living like an animal, just doing whatever he wanted to do in his life. And then somehow, just like Saint Mary of Egypt, he met Christ. And Saint Mary of Egypt, she was living 17 years in her sin. And she spent the next 17 years of her life fighting this act of purity. And if any of you don't know, fighting an act of purity is not like fighting any other sin. It's not like fighting cursing or fighting killing or fighting any other sin. Fighting the act of purity is the most difficult thing that you can ever overcome. And I promise you, there is no sin that has ever been overcome greater than purity. Because it says in the Bible that you can fight cursing, you can fight killing, you can fight this, you can fight that. And St. Moses had these aspects within him. You can fight all this stuff, but when it gets down to nitty-gritty stuff, fighting your purity, that stuff will destroy you. St. Paul says, what does he say in 1 Timothy 2:22? Actually, 2 Timothy 2:22, that's how I remember it. He says, flee all youthful lust. He's like, you can't even fight that sin on your own. You can fight cursing. You can fight killing. You can fight any other sin. But when it comes to purity, he's like, run away. Run away. Can you imagine that? God telling you to run away from a fight? We all say that the Lord is behind us and the Lord will always support us in all our battles. But when it comes to this sin, he's like, run away. Hold on. And the reason he says run away is that you can't fight it. And trust me, I don't know if you've all like fought purity or fought whatever, but when it comes to this sin, you will fall. And St. Moses had this within him. He was fighting purity his entire life. Can you imagine all those monks in the monastery telling him, oh, you're black, you're doing this, you're black on the outside and you're black on the inside. Look, you, whatever. But look at St. Moses. What a great example that we had to learn about today. He overcame all this stuff. And at the very end of his life, you know how the barbarians were storming the monastery? They broke into the gates. They slaughtered all the monks. But he chose to stay. He chose to stay and sacrifice his life for the rest of his brethren. And it probably hovered over him, the sin over his life, but I don't know. So I pray that we all use St. Mary of Egypt, use her example. She spent 17 years of her life fighting this. She was in the sin for 17 years, and she spent the next 17 years of her life fighting this sin. Could you imagine that? I mean, some of us, like we curse tomorrow, and sometimes it may take us like 4 years to recover from cursing. I know when I used to blow it out with my mouth when I used to curse, that I'm still recovering it from right now. Not that we'll skip to the next subject. I'm just saying. But seriously, let's look at St. Moses today. What a great, excellent example we have to look about today. That he lived his entire life doing all this garbage. All of it. But when it came down to nitty-gritty, he was like, I'm going to put away that stuff. I'm going to put to death that stuff. And what we're about to learn about today in this continuous our book, I pray that the Holy Spirit would all change our hearts from all this stuff. I'm sorry, Gory, that I took much of the time. How bad that just... Is there any questions? Yes. Understand what? Okay, so, I mean, I'm not qualified to speak on the subject by any means necessary, but let me tell you, keep the act of prayer close in your lives. Keep the Lord's Prayer. It's I'm not qualified to speak on this subject, so I can't really answer questions. But I'm just telling you. Guys, just keep the Lord close to your hearts. That's all I'm asking.
Thank you, John. Yeah. Ooh. Good afternoon. Okay, so this will be super fast again. And let's keep comments and questions to the end. If you really have to ask a question, go ahead. But let's try to keep it to the end, okay? And comments too. No comments. We'll stay quiet, okay? And thank you for coming. It's amazing. Thank you. No, is that important? Yes. What is it? Yes. No, you cannot. Okay. Ready? So tonight, in the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, one God, amen. Tonight we're going to talk about the heart. Heart. Okay, so the topic is about like uncovering your heart. But I thought I would mess around with it for a little bit and add a couple more points to the lesson. Instead of uncovering your heart, I added, let's uncover our heart. So uncovering our heart, preparing and changing your heart after you uncover it, and then handing it over. That's a heart. I know some of us are heartless in here, but it's okay. Right, Marco? Marco has a huge heart. What's a heart? Someone tell me what's a heart. Yes, Kiro. What's a heart? Tell me what's a heart.
Heart is what humans have and animals, like some people do.
Nice. Mina, what's a heart? All right, so Mina says a heart is something that you need to live. What is a heart? What does the heart do for your body? What does it do? Come on, Ilaria.
Live.
It helps you live. Shh. Hands down. I will pick on you. Okay, listen. Is anyone here? That's actually what I was looking for. That's a heart. Kyo, put your hand down. That's Shh. What's your question? Okay, what happens? What could possibly happen? Okay, if your heart stops working, Andre.
Are you talking in your actual body or your spiritual body? In your actual body,
Done. Like that.
It stops moving.
What happens if it stops moving and stops pumping?
Like you freeze.
Yeah, you freeze. Yeah. Okay. So yes, Kiro.
You will die.
Yes, you would die. So without.
body, you go ahead if you are good.
So you would naturally die without. No, I already have all the answers. Okay. Listen. Shh. Hands down, quiet. Next. Shh. So you would naturally, without your heart and without it pumping blood, okay, without it pumping blood and without it going through your bloodstream, and you need this tool, you would not survive. You will not survive. You will die. This is you need a heart. You need, without, how else you need it, okay? So you would this rip, yeah. You will not survive. Now, because the physical heart, when you don't have the physical heart, you damage. If you don't take care of your physical heart, then it's not going to work. If you do things to your heart, okay, whatever it is in this world that you can possibly do to your heart that will damage it, it's going to hurt it, and you're gonna pass away. Shh, I should be the only one speaking. You're going to pass away, right? How about we give an example of something that you can do to your heart that would probably damage it? Eating a lot of bacon. You would stop your heart from eating a lot of bacon, right? A disease. If you have a certain disease, it could stop your heart, right? Smoking. If you smoke, eventually you're going to really hurt your heart, and you could pass away. So we can see that our heart, because I can't keep stopping. Come on, stop. So we can see that we need to take care of our heart, and our heart is a very essential tool to our survival, right? And the same thing goes with the spiritual heart, okay? The same thing goes with the spiritual heart. If you do not take care of your heart spiritually, and you do not keep it clean, you do not do what the daily things to scrub it up your heart, it's gonna hurt, right? It's the same thing. Like certain sins and stuff, smoking is gonna damage your physical heart. Certain sins will damage your spiritual heart. And just like you can't survive without a physical heart, you cannot survive with a bad spiritual heart. You will not survive. You know what I mean? You will be spiritually dead without a good spiritual heart. You will be dead. And no one here wants to die spiritually. Everyone here wants to be healthy physical and spiritual heart, right? And growing. You want to keep growing, right? Now, we're going to talk about the spiritual heart today. We're going to talk about the spiritual heart, okay? Oh, my bad. We'll talk about first, before we talk about how do we clean our heart? Okay, Gory, you're telling me that, okay, my spiritual heart, I need to keep it clean, I need to keep it good so it can grow and help me grow. But before we talk about how we're going to do that, you can't clean your heart, you can't do anything on your heart until you have possession of it, until you own your heart, until you have it in your hands. Okay, and it's yours. You can't do anything with it, right? So we're going to talk about who has or what has your heart, right? You can't tell me like, okay, Gory, listen, I want to do ABC to my heart, and I'm ready to do it. Okay, where's your heart? Well, this one sin, it has my heart right now. Well, we can't do anything until you take it back. Gain ownership of your heart. Right? You need to have ownership of your heart before you change it. Or before you do anything to it, you need to have ownership of it. So let's talk about for 2 seconds who and what, or whatever the case is, has my heart. Let's talk about some examples of example of something like a sin, or something that you believe that if you give it to your heart, it's going to be hard to get back, or something that's in general that probably has my heart. Food. Sometimes food for some of us. All right. So food, down. I will call on you. Do not raise your hands. I will call on you. So food, sometimes we could say food, Mina, has our heart. So when something has our heart, we color it black. Okay. Sometimes certain sins control my heart. We think that, okay, no, Gory, you don't know what you're talking about. I have ownership of my heart. But you're still going back to the same sin. So do you have ownership of your heart, or does that sin have ownership of your heart? The sin has ownership of your heart. You don't own your heart. Can I get another sin? No, tell me a sin. Something that could have my heart. Shh. No, that's not what I'm talking about. Shh. Okay, put your hands down. Put your hands down. Put your hands down. I'm not going to continue when we're talking. Sometimes stress can own you. Sometimes you let stress have your heart. You let stress control your life. And anxiety. Sometimes lying. Sometimes you lie to the point where it's like it owns you. You believe you're living in the lies, right? Sometimes you believe that. Sometimes you lie to a point where it's like you believe it yourself. So lie. Oh, I like money. I will call on you. Who said laziness? Sleep could own me. Shh. Peer pressure. Right. But things that would own our heart, yeah. Depression? Shh. All right, hands down, hands down. No, hands down. I like this one. I mean, how do you spell depression? Shh, ask me. D-E-P-P. That's enough. Shh. Thank you, Mina. Okay. Guys, we can't keep talking this much. We can't keep talking this much. So we see here, let's take a good look at this. We see here, this is our heart, and it does not look like it did before. It does not, it's got cracks in it, and it's just not perfect. You color it in black, and let me get, Danny, come. Sin is not okay when we put it in our heart. Miriam can come. We're going to continue the lesson while they're coloring it in. So let's take a look at this. Please, listen. Okay, can you guys color these in black? Just keep going all the way. The whole thing black. Just do the whole thing black. So this whole thing, our heart in the beginning was clean, and it was so full of white. Our heart in the beginning was so clean, and it was so full of light. Right? So we need to understand what has my heart. I hope like the time we were writing sins and stuff like this, we all got a good idea in our minds. What do we think has my heart? What is it that I want it back, but what is it that you're taking it back from? Is it a certain sin, certain person, certain situation? Is it whatever it is, have it in your mind. Okay? Think of what you think has your heart. I want to talk about the depression and the anxiety one for a little bit. When we don't own our heart, when we don't have ownership of our heart, this is how it looks like. For some of us, this is how our heart looks like right now. And we think that it's clean. We think like, I can draw a heart. Yeah. We think it looks like this. We think it's so clean, like, oh wow, like nothing. Well, sometimes this is us. Sometimes we don't want to go through a denial or a phase where we believe we own our own hearts, but at the end of the day, when we look at it, this is what we see. We don't want to see this, right? Have ownership of your heart. Whatever it is that owns your heart, you need to destroy it. You need to stop it. You need to do whatever you can to take it back. If it's a sin, I'll go non-stop. Whatever I think can stop the sin. You have Abuna, you have yourself. You can tell yourself no. You know what I mean? You can look at the sin and say, no, I will not do it. I will not go back. This is my heart. Right? It's your heart. It's your choice to want to take it back or not. But I have some promises that God made. This is some really good promises. Shh. Look at this one. I like this one. This one's my favorite. Look what it says. Come to me, all of you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. That's a promise. Can you imagine God coming up to you and he's like, listen. I know you're tired. I know you're overwhelmed. Come to me, and I'll make you feel better. I'm going to give you rest, give you comfort. But how can he fix your heart? How can he give your heart rest if you don't give it to him? Right? We can't just sit here and talk to him like, listen, I'm not okay. This, and this has my heart. This is controlling me. I want you to help me. Give me rest. Like this promise, this is a promise. Fulfill your promise. And then you take your heart, you're like, thank you. And then you walk out. You can't. How can you, I use this example with a friend of mine that I was talking to the other day. I use a PlayStation as an example. You bust your PlayStation and it's broken. And you go up to the guy and you're like, listen, it's broken. This piece is missing. I'm missing wires. And I don't know what's wrong with this console. And you're holding it in your hand. You're like, I need you to fix it. And then you say, yeah, I'll fix it. I got you. Like, I'm going to make it brand new. And you take it and you're like, thanks. Then you get it and you put it back in your room. And you're like, okay, he's got this. He's got it. I'm going to get a brand new PlayStation. No, you're not going to get, what are you doing? Give it back to him. You know what I mean? Give him the PlayStation. Let him fix it. We can't come here and like, God, my heart, I'm tired, I'm overwhelmed. You got this. It's a promise. See that promise? I know you don't break promises. And you walk out. Wow, you want all of this? Dude, I can't wait that God give it to you. This is going to be amazing. You know what I mean? Because he promised it. He said, I'll give you desires of your heart. It's a promise right there. He does not mess around. It's a promise, right? And then you're like, yeah, glory, bro. This list, I can't wait till he gives it to me. And then you come the next day or the next year and we're like, what's going on with him? Like, what is he doing? He won't give me anything. He won't do anything for me. I gave him this huge list. I asked him, what is it? I knock and it shall be open to you. Ask and you shall receive. How much more am I going to do it? How much more am I going to ask? You have to be patient. But what else? What is the beginning? Delight yourself in the Lord. Delight yourself with him. Love him. Give him your heart. Give him your whole heart. Love him for real. You know what I mean? To the point where it's like if you feel like you're losing him, you really feel like you're losing something in your life. You know what I mean? Have you ever lost like a best friend or like someone that passed away, or just if you just lost something important to you, you really feel like, wow, I really lost that thing. Like I lost it. It's gone. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and you really feel it. Do we feel the same way with him? When we feel like our spiritual life is so low and so down, and just like you feel like such a wreck, do you feel like you lost something? Right? Sometimes, for some of us, it doesn't faze us. It does faze us. You're doing amazing. Because God really does have your heart at that point. He really does. And you do love him. To the point where if you start to lose him, you feel it. Give him your heart. Look at this one. Oh. The peace of God which transcends all understanding will guard more. Like, stop touching this heart. Don't you want that? Don't you want God to be here and it's like, you're like, God, like I'm tired, I'm overwhelmed, look at my heart, it's black, I can't do this anymore. And you just sit here and you want God to sit here and you're like, he just leaves it, I got you. Like no one is going to touch this heart anymore. No sin, no bad thing is going to touch this heart anymore. Don't you want that to happen? Don't you want him to, like, you feel protected, like when you see like so many bad things and all this is going through you, don't you want to feel like a comfort inside of you? Like, no, I don't care what's happening. He's guarding me, right? You can't let someone guard something that you don't give it to them. Imagine hiring a bodyguard for your house without letting him in the house. What exactly is he guarding? You know what I mean? What if you don't give him the address? Listen, I want you, okay, to guard. Mina, you're going to come to my house, you're going to guard it. I'm not giving you the address. That's it. Good luck. Right? Yeah. Shh, I can't hear her. Yeah? Yeah. Okay, I thought you would.
It says, even the youth shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fall, but those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint.
It's a promise. I love that. See how amazing he is? He wants to help you. He's not playing the bad guy here. He wants to help you. He wants to make this clean. Like God, sometimes some of us, we have doubts. Some of us, like, this is our heart, and we're like, this is the biggest hopeless situation I've ever seen. This. It won't even come off. This is when I get yelled at. No, I'm just kidding. I make myself laugh. Look at this one. This is a really good one. So like this is obviously would come after you clean your heart. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Wow. I'm going to see God if I'm pure in heart. Right? Who here has seen God? So you're telling me none of you guys are pure in heart? What are you guys doing? Okay, I'm kidding. Listen. This is the best part. Pure in heart. I don't know who said this. No, look this way. Don't look at me. Okay. When we're pure in heart, you guys have something good to say? Anything? Okay, no, not Kiro. Sit down. Shh. 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 When we're pure in heart, and you truly are, you've cleaned yourself, you let God come, and you're like, no more. No one is touching this heart anymore. No one is going to do anything. You start to become pure in heart. You have confidence. You know that He's there. Wherever that, like, when you see people and see certain things, you don't care because He has your heart. So you see God in everything that you do. When it says, for they shall see God, those people that are really pure and those people who just like, they trust God, they see God in everything, right? Have you ever noticed that? Have you ever seen those people where it's like, wow, that dude, like, I don't know what he sees in me or what he sees in the church or like something about he sees God, like, you know what I mean? Or sometimes you're like, wow, I see God in this person. You know what I mean? That's what it means when it says you will see God. You will see God. And then some of you are thinking like, no, that's not the God I'm talking. I want to see Him right there. Like, come right here. You know what I mean? But when you're pure in heart, when you see people, like when I go up to Mina, I'm like, dang, Mina, like this. Something about you, I see God. I see Him. And you believe it. You believe it in your heart. You're like, I see God. The things that Mina does, I see Him. I see God in Mina. I really do. You know what I mean? When you're pure in heart. Not specifically Mina. That was a bad example, but it was fine. Okay, this is my favorite part. This is my favorite part. Hello? No. Shh. My bad. That was an accident. Shh. Servants in the back. Shh. I remember I was working in the kitchen, and we were doing the dishes. So I'm doing the dishes and stuff, and I was very quiet that day. And I remember one of the brothers came up to me, and he gave me the greatest example, analogy, whatever you call it, of that I've ever heard. Like, it was something so simple, but I'll never forget it because it was so true. It made so much sense. You know what I mean? So this is what happened. Can you hear me? I would like the mic. So we were cleaning the dishes with towels. And this is pretty much how the towel looked like. This is how it looked like sometimes. And I looked at it and he's like, what is wrong with this towel? I'm like, it's dirty. Yeah, let's clean it. And then he's like, sometimes, this is us. He's like, let's clean it. You want to clean it? Let's clean it. So he gets boiling hot water. So the sink is empty, okay? The sink is just filled with minor, food, leftover food, some dirt, minor stuff. So he gets it, and he goes like this. He gets like say this is dirty. He gets it, he's like, okay, let's do this. He lays it down. It's right here. It's in the sink. And then he gets it and he turns on the really, like their water in the monastery, I don't know how this is okay. It's boiling. The hot water, there's no way you can put your hand in that thing. It's bad. For those who have done the dishes before in the monastery, you know it's bad. It's really, you touch it, you burn your skin. You're done. So he gets it and he puts it all the way on hot and he puts it on the napkin, right? And I'm sitting there, I see the smoke coming now and I see this thing's getting clean. And he gets into, he's cleaning it and stuff and the hot water and all that stuff, and it's just he's cleaning it, and then all the big stuff that I see on there is getting, it's coming off, the leftover, a banana peel, all this kind of stuff is falling off. I'm like, yeah, dude, you're cleaning it, you're doing a good job, nice. And he gets it, and then he's like, and he gets it, and I'm like, he's like, is it clean? I'm like, looks clean, you know what I mean? Looks not bad. He's like, no, flip it over. I'm like, oh yeah, the back. So he gets it, more boiling hot water, and he's killing the guy. I'm like, yeah, I'm scraping the stuff off. I'm like, you don't need hot water, dude. Just do it with your hand. I'm like, he's like, no, you need hot water because it cleans everything out. I'm like, okay. So he's doing everything, and he's cleaning it. And then he gets it. He's like, do you think this was fair for this piece of napkin? I'm like, doesn't matter if it was. He's like, and then he starts twisting it. And he's twisting it. And all this dirty water is coming out, and he's twisting it. I'm like, if you want me to be honest, if you think that's me, what you're twisting is me, I would hate it. That hurts. The way you're twisting it, this is not comfortable. This is not, you know what I mean? And he's going at it, He's like, I'm not done. But I'm going to do the other side. And he's going at it, and all this dirt is coming out. And he's like, you see that dirt? I was not done, and that hot water was not done. You know what I mean? There's more dirt on the inside, and I'm not leaving this napkin until every single piece of dirt comes out. I don't care. He gets a knife, and he goes like this. He spreads it out, and he's coming to get a knife, and he starts scraping it. He's like, shh, and all this dirty pieces are coming out. I'm like, that's enough. It looks clean. He looks at it, and it's like, dude, this is clean. You know what I mean? What is wrong? I can use this to clean up. And then he gets that little speck, if you see it, he's like, don't tell me that's clean. Right? We use this to clean people's food. You know what I mean? On the plates, that's not clean. And he's twisting it. And he's making this thing hate its life. You know what I mean? So I'm like, what are you trying to say? I don't understand. You're doing this. I want to know what's the lesson you have behind this. He's like, this is you and this is your heart. The person in control of that hot water, the person twisting you, and the person doing all of this is God. And you keep asking why. You keep asking him, why is he doing that? Look at this. He makes it nice. He makes it clean. You look at it and you're like, sometimes to us, we're like, Gory, that's nice. It's a napkin. But when it's actually happening to us, it's not so funny anymore, right? When you're actually going through it and God is cleaning you in your life, you're at a stage in your life, he's cleaning you, it's not funny. It hurts, right? It really hurts. Look at this. I love this. I love this. Okay. Look at this. Look. We'll just look at it for a second. Okay? Let's all pretend this is God right now. He's standing right there, and that's the image that we're looking at. And we're on the cross ourselves. And we're on the left side. Okay? Have you ever, I read this, I watched this video, a friend showed it to me, and I fell in love. That was it. And I'll tell you what this dude did in this video. Sometimes we'll come and we'll pray to him. We'll pray, we'll come into the chapel, but we're not praying. What are we doing? We're blaming. Sometimes we sit there and we're like, you know what? I'm going to test you. If you're God, get me out of this. Have you ever done that? Sometimes we'll test him, if you're God, we'll look at him. He looks like this. This is how he looks. He's going through so much pain, and he's hurt, and he's not okay. Have you ever gotten advice from someone that's hurt or someone that's going through pain? Usually you don't do that. You know what I mean? You just don't do that because you're probably not going to get the right answer. Or honestly, it's selfish of you. Go to someone that's healthy. But we go to him who's going through pain, and we're like, if you're God, if you really are God, get me out. And we get on our knees, and we're like, please, get me out of this. Show me that you're God. Show me what you can do. That situation I'm in, you see my heart, you see how blessed, you see it, do something about it. If you're God, show me what you can do. We test him. You know what I mean? And then we would question, like, why are you doing that? Why did you do X, Y, Z? Why are you going to let me go? Turn off the hot water. Have you ever asked? Sometimes we'll go up to him, like, turn it off. It hurts. And we'll question our friends. We'll text our friends and stuff like this. And we'll talk to them, like, dude, like, he won't stop. He won't stop with the hot water. He's twisting me. You know what I mean? And you look at him and you're like, do something. Turn it off. Save me. Save me. The video, right? So when we look at him and we're like, God, like, look what happened. I know I did this to myself, but why would you? Sometimes we blame God, like, look what you did. That hot water hurts. You're twisting me, it hurts. What you're doing to me hurts, right? And then we look at him like, stop it. Like, save me. But maybe he is saving you. That pain and that stuff that you're going through now, because you won't clean your own heart, because he loves you so much, he'll clean it for you himself. And then at the end, when he's cleaning you, we get defensive and we yell at him, like, why are you cleaning me? You know what I mean? Right? And then sometimes we'll like ask ourselves, like, I didn't ask for him to clean me. Did that napkin ask to be cleaned? No, we cleaned it so it can be used for a better purpose. So it can be used tomorrow and the next day. God cleans you so that he can help other people. He is saving you right now. He's saving you. So instead of saying, God, why are you doing this to me? Tell him, don't forget me. Like, remember me when you come into your kingdom. You know what I mean? Don't forget me. This is also my favorite picture. This, I love. This was my wallpaper for a while. I loved this picture. So what it is, it's you're like in the ocean, and then there's God like giving you a hand. Sometimes when you're so overwhelmed and you're so tired and you can't breathe because you're underwater, you can't breathe, you're only going to last so long until you grab his hand. Some of us test ourselves, like, no, I can stay longer. I got this. Give me like 20 more seconds. Well, in 20 more seconds, you're not going to be able to stand longer. Grab his hand. You know what I mean? Stop thinking you can clean your heart by yourself. Right? What happens if you stay there any longer? You're going to die. You will die. It hurts. What happens if you don't take care of you give him your hand, and you grab his hand, you're like, God, I'm done with this. I'm done asking why. I want to clean my heart. I want to uncover my heart. The lesson today was uncovering our heart. You can't do that without God. Every time you give him your heart, one day goes by and you're like, what is this? They give me markers that don't work. Thank you. Every time you give him your heart, he gets it and he cleans it. He'll clean it. And then he'll get the napkin. Eventually, what's going to happen? Eventually, it's going to be really clean. Right? Who doesn't want that? Who doesn't want to live a clean life? Who doesn't want to be cleaned? Have you noticed something? When you do it, or even though you know it's Sharpie, you can't clean it yourself. No one can do anything themselves. You need to go out of your way to go get him. Don't think like, oh, I'm just going to go in this misery and I'm going to wait till he comes to me. No, you need to go yourself, grab Jesus, the marker, and do it yourself. Let him do it for you. There's no such thing as sitting back like, you know what? This is God. I don't need it. Watch this. Just give me a moment. And you just...